SHALA log 002, March 14th, 2020. Guidelines for practice. I'm doing this in video form because I think I'll reach more of you than if I sent out a 20-minute read. I've been saying quietly for 10 years that Ashtanga Yoga is the practice for times of trouble. The practice par excellence, in my view, for immune boosting and digestive system regulation is the first half of the primary series, with extra time in the inversions, particularly shoulder stand. At the same time, every day, for the duration. One of my big motives for making Ashtanga Yoga teaching my life's work is the direct witnessing of how powerful the first half of the primary series is. All along, my thought has been, if I can offer someone this tool, whatever time it takes together, for you to really understand the vinyasa system through the jhana shirshasanas and the marishiasanas and how to do inversion sustainably, then you'll have it. Maybe then, maybe later, when you need it. So now is the time. Numerous people on this feed are going to have a longer program. Please, have fun. We got time to practice. My practice for the foreseeable will be full primary series from the entire syllabus of the Ashtanga program. That is the piece that gives me the most energy and is super sustainable for the long term. So, if you have more of the program, you're going to do whatever you want to do. But that first half of primary series, if you've been away for a while, I couldn't recommend it more highly. We're going to have resources for coordinating a scheduled practice wherever you are. I'll say more of that in text. Number 2, mental health. Practice at the same time every day. Doing this method, the discipline that it requires and the focus that it will sustain you with over time, combined with connection with a little expertise and a community, especially in these times, has the potential to furnish us with really profound sense of solidarity and resilience. I welcome it. We will be surrounded increasingly by people we love and by strangers who are experiencing intense emotional dysregulation, loss of focus, loss of meaning, and loss of any sense of organization in their lives. The existence of one person with inner peace and stability of mind is an incredible resource for people in states of dysregulation. I woke up this morning dreaming of Plato's cave. Some of you will have read about that in high school. It's Plato's very early metaphor for the way that mental projection works. And it lines up nicely with my longtime fantasy of just being a meditator in a cave. So Plato says that the mind can be compared to a person in isolation in a cave. And images project on the side of that cave. And the fundamental mechanism of delusion, what we call Maya in the yoga tradition, is taking as real the projections playing on the side of the cave. I can only imagine how that ramps up in a, like, from a Greek perspective, when you add social media. So let's make it Patanjali's cave. And it's 2020. Epic times. You are in isolation. You're in a cave of sorts. But now you have not only your mind to watch play out on the walls of your cave, but the inner chatter, right? The discursive mind that is so prominent in our times, the inner voices. And you give to them the food personally curated for you by an algorithm we can't even understand that responds most quickly to your negative emotions. Your fear, your anxiety, dislike, rage, panic. Somehow there's this super sentient machine that responds to the worst impulses inside of your mind. So now you're in the cave and you've got this constant stream of algorithmically selected, bespoke information. And you're feeding on that. And then listening to the voices and watching the images that grow and are cultivated over the long term as a result of those inputs. This is a pretty good metaphor for the situation of our neighbors. And all the more reason to be careful about what you take in. I'll say more later about reading and why I think reading is an amazing tool for stabilizing the mind. That's some good tech. Talk about technological innovations. That one's a few thousand years old, but in these times, it can give us opportunities to actually learn and stabilize and connect by other means. More on that later. For now, practices of mental and emotional stability. Again, I think the attitudes of sharing with each other, imbibing really good tech in the form also of Ashtanga yoga, and keeping a schedule are our best bet for cultivating higher levels of resilience and higher levels of solidarity than we've ever had before. I'm not kidding when I say I welcome it. 3, diet. You know I never talk about this. The reason is, when I came to Ann Arbor in 2009, I realized that I was in a particular culture that's very grounded and where food means things in the context of family that I didn't understand. In Los Angeles, you run any experiment you want with your eating program, figure out what works with you, and it doesn't necessarily have the same sort of cultural and social implications that it did here. So I just shut my mouth. I haven't really said anything since other than to put you in touch with Ayurveda. Sasha noted to her students yesterday, and I agree though, that this is a time when eating well really matters. Especially if one of the old coping mechanisms from the time before your practice was stress eating, right? Especially when we are alone and we don't have a schedule, that is something to really keep an eye on. You know how that works for you. I don't have any particulars or suggestions in how you're supposed to particularly eat. That's what Ayurveda is for, to help you figure out how your system thrives. But I would have suggestions for how to give your immune system and your mind and your digestive system the message that you're not helping, that you don't care how they do, and you're actually going to make their really important work now harder. So the program for self-sabotage is as follows. Eat sugar. You know it. Drink alcohol. Take foods that come out of packages at all hours, without a schedule, with no love in the preparation process. Be careful with this. The Ayurvedic cleanse for the SHALA starts on Sunday. The timing is good. If you begin this time with the strictest of schedules, where you're allowed to eat all that you want, but of a mono diet, it will give you a chance to set a certain program for the time ahead. That's it for now on practice guidelines. More soon.